your way to the motorcycles. All those sitting down on pit 4. Can someone give them a ring up? They don't seem to be moving too fast. All riders, please make your way to the right screen for the official photo. Lewis Cornish, where are you? Everybody's out on the grid to move the building. Everybody seems to be relaxed. The official photo. But I'd like you to take time for please be outstanding for the national anthem of Singapore. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now I ask all riders to please sit on your bikes and officials to sit down for the official photo. All riders, please sit on your bikes. Welcome again to the fourth round of the FIM Asia Supermoto Championships here at the KRANJI Track. It's official festivities have just come to a conclusion, and all riders will be getting off their bikes and moving into position. If all riders can push their bikes back onto their respective group positions now, so they're in readiness for the start of race number 7 of 2017 FIM Asia Supermoto Championships.
Time check 15 minutes before the warm-up lap. Reminder. Copy that. Great. I believe you are ready with your 10-minute spot. Race control to starter.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is JD, and right now I'm in sunny Singapore for the FIM Asia Supermoto Championship 2017. We are at the KF1 track in KRANJI, and it's exciting because this is the fourth round of the tournament. We're one leg away from the grand finale in Kuala Lumpur next weekend. So we're at the starting grid right now. Let's check up on our riders and see and talk to our first top three of the Super Chrono earlier to see who got the first grid. In first position is Lewis Cornish from the UK. Where has he gone? The rider is missing. So let's go and go to the second one for a bit. Right now we have Simon from Denmark. Hi. Doing a quick interview here. So how are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. It's exciting to be here, and I'm excited to go racing. It's my first time, so yeah.
So you're in fourth place in the World Championship, right? Why did you decide to join the FIM Asia Supermoto Championship only on the fourth round?
I have just broken my finger. It's almost finished, so I have some big problems with that, so I couldn't come before. So, yeah.
Okay, so aside from your finger, what other challenges do you think you're going to face today?
Pretty much that this bike is a motocross bike and my normal bike is a Supermoto with better suspension, engine and clutch and things. Yeah, we have a little problem with the brakes. It doesn't work so good, so yeah.
Okay.
It'll be good.
It'll be fine. That sounds like I like how you've listed a long list of problems, but you're optimistic about it. All the best. Good luck to you. Thank you so much. Now in position 3, we have Hairi from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Sorry, not necessarily from Kuala Lumpur. He's taking Hairi berasal dari mana di Malaysia?
Saya berasal daripada Johor Bahru.
Oh, he's from Johor Bahru, which is really next to Singapore. That was my mistake earlier. So anyway, Hairi, how are you feeling right now?
Ya, hari ini saya rasa sangat bagus dengan keadaan cuaca yang baik. So saya akan berusaha untuk lebih baiklah untuk Moto1.
Okay, in case for our viewers who don't speak Malay, Hairi just said that he's really happy with the weather today. Everything's really good, and he's gonna try very hard to do his best. Correct?
Yeah.
Jangan malu, okay? Don't be shy. You can talk to. Don't be nervous. Okay. Okay, Hairi, you have a lot of fans right here
Yep.
in Singapore today.
Yeah.
Please say hi to all your fans.
Ya, say hi Singapore, Malaysia.
You're on the TV right now, so that's why they're all looking at you. Lots of support for Hairi from Johor Bahru in Malaysia. Do you reckon you have more fans in Singapore or in Malaysia?
Singapore and Malaysia.
Yeah, that's how you do it. So do you think that all your fans here today cheering you on will push you all the way to number 1?
Yeah, I try push my best for today.
Okay, thank you so much, Hairi. Okay, so earlier we lost our first position rider, but now we're going to go back. The race is going to start really soon, so we're going to do this really quickly. We have Lewis Cornish from the UK. How are you feeling right now in pole position number 1?
I'm pretty warm, to be honest with you, but no, I'm really happy. Simon come all the way from Denmark, and he's a force to be reckoned with. You know, he's currently 4th in the World Championship, so to put it on pole in front of him, you know, I'm really happy. Like I said, I didn't necessarily expect it to happen, but we found a good setting. We worked hard, you know, like to get the setting with the bike, and the Metzeler tyres are working really good. So, yeah, you know, big shout out to those guys for making it happen.
Okay, thank you so much. So good luck and all the best, and good luck to all our riders. Now on to our commentator for the day. We have Mark Brexit. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks, JD. As top 3 were interviewed, getting ready for their 20-minute plus 2 laps to decide a little bit further on in the championship who is going to be the 2017 FIM Asia Supermoto Championship. Just going through the grid as we look. Thanks, JD, as we get ready for our look at the grid, as we get ready to go one step closer to deciding who is going to be the 2017 FIM Asia Supermoto champion here at the KF1 go-kart track in KRANJI in northern Singapore. Pole position at the moment, we've got Lewis Cornish, who leads the championship by 14 points over his number 1 rival, Trakan Tantong, who is in 5th position on the grid. All important for him to get a good start. But next to him is our wild card this weekend, Simon Wilhelmston. That he's going to have a bit of a battle on his hands. He had a bit of an accident in qualifying, as he said in the pre-race interview. Got a bit of a sore finger on his little pinky on his right hand, but that shouldn't affect him once the adrenaline and the red mist starts to come down. You know what these guys are like. They'll be right onto the pace all over this 20 minutes and 2-minute laps. But the grid is slowly starting to dissipate as the officials and marshals leave to take up their posts. But just going through the grid quickly, Lewis Cornish on pole position. Next to him, Wilhelmsen on second. Then third position, Kari Zakaria, the leading Malaysian. Next to him on the fourth position, on the leading the way in the second row of the grid is our defending champion, Muhammad Habibullah, or Gabit as he's commonly known, the little brother. Then it is Trakan Tantong, the Thai rider, who won the 2015 championship. Then on position number 6, on the second row of the grid, is our visiting Japanese man, and a very rapid man at that, Yasushi Matsumoto. Then leading the way in the third row of the grid, coming to, well, liking it a bit more now that there's not so much dirt on the track, well, in fact, no dirt on the track, is our Russian rider, Artem Teslenko. He's got a big smile on his face. It's his best qualifying position all year, and expect him to be right in the mix right until the end and hopefully getting a podium position. Next to him is the leading Singapore rider who's got a lot to do with Supermoto in the island country, Eric Chia. Carrying a bit of an injury at the moment, I do believe, but he'll be fighting fit as well. And rounding out the third row of the grid in position number 9 is his compatriot Hazroy Osman. Big cheer for him, very popular here, the local lad, the two Singaporeans. And they'll be sure to be in it. Eric Chia, as I said, one of the leading guys lights in organising Supermoto racing in Singapore. On the fourth row of the grid, we've got from Indonesia, Pedro Wuna. Then next to him, Li Wei from Taiwan. Then it's Seng Wei Kai. And rounding out the fifth row of the grid, we've got Lin Chin Pei, Sun Tong, and Takashi Sasaki from Japan. So put your hands together for all these guys. They'll be going out hard at it in very humid conditions here this afternoon. We might be heading into the wet season, but I don't think we're going to have any rain this afternoon, which will rest easy with these guys. As they're getting ready, you can see down there, there's some very warm people. As the nerves are starting to build, the officials are starting to let people know that they're ready to go. 5 minutes time before the official start of race number 7 that leads off round number 4 of the 2017 FIM Asia Supermoto Championship, which has seen us start the series in Thailand way back in September before we moved to Indonesia in October in the middle of Java at a town called Solo Baru. And then a couple of weeks ago we headed north up to Taiwan for round number 3, which we saw the winners being split by Trakan Tantong taking the first lead, and Lewis Cornish returning to the top of the podium for race number 2. Who's it going to be here as we get ready for race number 7 and round number 4? Can Lewis Cornish stamp his authority and spread those points out? Or is the wild card, Simon Wilhelmsen, going to start a bit of a trend with the wild cards coming into it? And then rounding it out, the Malaysian hopeful Kari Zakaria. Second row of the grid, our defending champion. Habibullah there on screen at the moment, Gabit. But can it be the Singaporean riders, Eric Chia and or Hazroy Osman, that come through and grab a podium spot? I'm sure there's going to be a lot of the locals to be urging these local heroes on. As the 2-minute siren has just gone up. There's our 2015 champion on screen at the moment, Trakan Tantong. Looking a bit, he's pretty relaxed, always got a smile on his face, the lad, but he's getting a bit serious at the moment. Lewis Cornish strips off the bib to get the leathers on, trying to stay as cool as possible. You got a feel for these guys. It's snowing in England at the moment. He's come out here on Wednesday and Thursday, as well did Simon Wilhelmsen from Denmark, where it could be just a little bit frosty over there. And also on 7th position on the grid, our man from Russia, Artem Teslenko. So the humid conditions could have an effect on their performance later in the race, and particularly later on this afternoon. who's it going to be? There is local lad Kari Zakaria, very popular around this part of the world, on screen at the moment. As we go live onto Asia Super Sports Facebook page and the FIM Asia Supermoto Facebook page. But it is all going to be down to the one little slip of the wrist, the one little missed gear, the one little missed braking point. As between the top 6 riders, there is just under a second from qualifying. Didn't go the way of planned for a lot of them, particularly Matsumoto, who qualifying time was, his super chrono qualifying time was worse than his official qualifying time earlier today. And we've seen a bit of a different structure of the racing this weekend, with the race, the practice, qualifying and racing all in the one day. And so I'm going to take a bit of a bite out of these, and it's easy to follow. Great innovation by the promoters of the FIM Supermoto Championship, where all the riders have got a bib on so you can tell which country they are from. And hopefully I'll be keeping you up to date with the who's who in the zoo and who's leading this race number 7 at round 4 of the FIM Asia Supermoto Championship. Brought to you live here on live streaming. Going all around the world as we speak. Spreading the word of this ever-growing series in its 3rd year and gaining stature, which has been reflected by the fact of Simon Vilhelmsen from Denmark, the number 4 ranked rider in the world after the recent World Championships. So he's the one to chase. Lewis Cornish, another one that's finished 3rd in the American Motorcycling Association Supermoto Championship. 1 minute, all the bikes are being started. Hopefully no problems with getting them underway. Look at Lewis Cornish punching the tank, giving himself a big wind up at the moment. The nerves are building. He couldn't sleep much last night, such was his brain was playing him what to do. The revs are building. They get 2 warm-up laps, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you're watching, whether you're at the track here at KRANJI Car Track or anywhere in the world, we'll be getting close to 1 million people tuning into this, with a great marketplace all the way through Asia. Officials, the red flag is going up. There they go, ladies and gentlemen, being waved away. Through the turn 1, this 980 metre course with 18 corners in it. Very technical, very tight, very committed. You've got to be right on your ball game as you get there too. 18 corners, there's no time to relax. It's all on torque, it's not on top speed or horsepower. Much the same as what we saw at Solo Baru in October. So down the short back straight before they start bringing themselves back. They get 2 warm-up laps. And then they come back into the starter's hands. And they'll be unleashed for 20 minutes plus 2 laps to decide who takes win number in race number 7 for 2017. Just a quick drink of water if I'm thirsty. I can imagine these guys will be pretty dry already as they get ready. They're coming back into the starter's hands now. Try and get as much heat in the tyres as possible. Make sure everything's A-OK. Vilhelmsen, the Danish rider, has had brake troubles with the boiling of the fluid and also a few clutch troubles earlier today. But hopefully he's got that fixed up. Coming down to bury the front so it doesn't pop up too much when they launch. Most of these bikes now, the modern motocross bikes that have been converted into supermotard machines have got launch control on them and traction control to try and get as much power to the ground as possible. So just repeating, Lewis Cornish on pole. Next to him, the wildcard entry, Wilhelmsen from Denmark, rated number 4 in the world in second position. Then Kari Zakaria sitting third in the championship, the leading Malaysian rider. Then position number 4, his teammate and defending champion, Gabit Habibullah. Trakan Tantong in 5th, and rounding out the second row, it's Yasushi Matsumoto from Japan. Then Teslenko from Russia, Chia from Singapore, and beside him Osman also from Singapore, rounding out the third row of this 15 bike field. Revs are building. Red flag at the front. Cornish is saying, come on, let's get this thing underway. Waiting for the clerk of the course to give the official word. Here they go. The starter's hands. The focus is on. Race base is on. We're racing in Singapore. And it's Cornish that gets the whole shot. From Wilhelmsen in second position by the look of it. Yes, it is. So our two leading European riders, as expected, take the lead. But what is going to happen? We saw in Taiwan that Cornish got the lead and then crashed within a couple of laps. So as they come back down through this tight little section, through turn number 5 and 6. Now the charge down into the back, this short back straight. So it's still Cornish. Then from bike number 64, the Danish rider. Oh, a big slide there from Cornish. That's what we didn't need earlier on in the piece, as they get trying to get to make some traction out of semi-warm tyres. Now they come through the final S section into this very tight final turn onto the straight to complete lap number 1. So Cornish leads the way. And then the Danish man in second position. They're already starting to string themselves out, so it looks like it's becoming a race in 2. Where's Zakaria? He's in third spot at the moment. But Cornish now leading the championship and doing what he knows best, leading from the front. But I tell you what, it's the Danish guy, Simon Wilhelmsen, on his Husqvarna, who's going to be trying very hard to bridge the gap. He had a slight injury this morning when he crashed at turn number 1, when he had no front brakes and had to throw it away to stop himself. But look at the lead he's already got out as he comes down to complete lap number 2. Where is Wilhelmsen? We missed him through our coverage as we went back through the field. Gabit in second position. So already it looks like there's been a casualty with Wilhelmsen again suffering with brake troubles. So in the first couple of minutes of this race, drama as the wild card is out of the race. So Cornish now doing it pretty comfortably already. Gets good drive out of that hairpin. So then we go back through the leaderboard. Looking to see who's coming through at the moment. So Gabit in second, then it's bike number 84. In third, that's Matsumoto in third position. So Gabit already starting to get away from this bunch of third, fourth and fifth. So Cornish in a very clear lead at the front of this one. And at the moment looking to see where Trakan at the moment is Cornish's main rival. And so looking to see with Wilhelmsen, bike number 64, is back there in 7th position at the moment. He's getting back to 3rd position, pardon me. So Gabit in 2nd position. But is the world number 4 going to start pressuring him? Matsumoto's there as well. But this is a battle for 2nd position that we can see on screens at the moment. Cornish has disappeared into the distance on his Kenny Motorsports Techno Racing Husqvarna. Through the back section under the railway line. As they come down now, again another lap completed. Up to lap number 6 for our leading bunch at the moment. Fastest on track was a 49.5204 Cornish, but the man with the fastest lap is Trakan, pardon me, a 49.505. So the top 6 riders, and then we look down into Bill Helmsman, a 48. So he's dropping it back down now, so in 3rd position. So there is a good battle going on for the minors at the moment. But Cornish is away in 1st place. Gabit is gone in 2nd position. So there's the battle for 3rd position at the moment. Looking to see where our Danish rider is. He's back in 6th position according to our timing monitors at the moment. But this is the battle for 3rd. We've got Teslenko there. A great race for him at the moment on bike number 97. And there's Trakan there back in 5th. But Cornish, they're on their 8th lap. Happy Buller a bit in 2nd position. As the field stretch themselves out quite considerably here, which is easy to do. Has been a tight little track, very technical. It only takes one little slip up and you can drop off the leading bunches, which have been made pretty obvious by the performance and domination of Lewis Cornish on bike number 8. And it takes a real commitment to actually pass someone. And that has to be said for Trakan Tantong, the man in 2nd position in the championship, who currently sits 5th on the track. So Happy Buller there after returning from injury where he missed the 3rd round in Taiwan a couple of weeks ago, but shows that he's back to 100% fitness after a punctured lung and a few broken ribs. He must be still suffering with a few of the pain of the broken ribs. That can play havoc with you and be a bit of a legacy from any crash for quite some time. But take nothing away from Lewis Cornish at the moment. And there, just trying to see who that rider was. One of our Taiwanese riders dropping back through the field, letting the other guys go past without being a hindrance as he gets lapped. So now we're down into about half race distance. 10 laps. We should be getting about 23 laps out of this 20-minute session plus a 2 at the end. So the most important thing for now is for Cornish to maintain that concentration. He'll be getting a pit board from his father Dave downstairs to let him know how much of a lead he's got. But he's got to disregard that and just keep himself focused and keep on concentrating. Because as soon as he starts to think he's got the win and is doing it easy, that's when mistakes can start creeping in. And as we saw in Taiwan, one little mistake can ruin your entire day. As the back marker's looking to see who's that. That is Sasaki and Sangwai Ki looking behind him. Well, he's backed right off to let Lewis Cornish through. So great riding from these lap riders to get out of the way and let the leaders do what they've got to do at the front of the field. So they're coming up to complete lap number 12.
Fastest man on track, a 48.5 for Lewis Cornish, a 5:09. Not quite up to his speed of a 40. So looking to see where our visiting Danish man is. He's dropped down now back into, just getting a bit of cross up on the screen. So it's Cornish from Habibullah in second position. And then on bike number 84, it is Matsumoto in fourth. Then Zakaria, Trakan Tantong in fifth position. But Cornish stretching out to a monumental lead here. And there comes Gabbett there in second position. Got now out to about 13 seconds by the look of it, so that's about almost half a lap over our man that's in fifth position, Trakan Tantong, the guy that's only 13 points, 14 points behind him in the championship race. Well, that's been stretched out by another 3 points. Well, be close to about 8 points if the point spread stays the same. So, Gabbett there in second position. Zakaria, who sits in third position in the championship, back and forth. Eric Cheetah is out leading the way there in sixth for the Singaporean fans. But I'll tell you what, Teslenko is running a great race. Now that he doesn't have to worry about any dirt as in previous rounds, he is really piling it on. But the man that is piling it on bigger and in big, more higher piles is Lewis Cornish, going away with, getting another very handy points lead as Gabbett tries to salvage some points after as we know that he missed out on round number 3 in Taiwan a couple of weeks ago. So Matsumoto in third position. Teslenko dropping down to 8th position. But that's leading. So Matsumoto, Zakaria and Trakan Tantong all covered by about 0.6 of a second. Then it's a big gap back to Eric Chia in 6th. I'm just looking to see where his fellow Singaporean is, but he's dropped off the pace. Pedro Werner back there in 9th position on bike number 7. So Matsumoto is proving his pedigree of being one of the Japanese Supermoto champion a couple of years ago. He's moving on to better things, doing other disciplines of motorcycle racing in Japan, which they have many of. Now it'll be interesting to see Matsumoto lapping a 49.6 as his fastest lap, compared to a 49.2 for Habibullah. So it doesn't look like that as much as he's going to try, I don't think that Matsumoto will be able to make too much of an inroad and threaten second position, because up the inside of him comes bike number 32. That was Kari Zakaria trying for a way through on the Japanese rider. That was a big move that could have been treacherous for both of them. But there's our leader on screen, Lewis Cornish, a merry dance at the moment. 6.5 seconds in front of Muhammad Habibullah, who sits 6th in the championship, looking to salvage some points and move up the leaderboard. So we have an Englishman, Malaysian and a Japanese in the top 3 at the moment. As we said, the biggest thing for both Cornish and Habibullah is to maintain their concentration, because it's very easy in this sort of situation for your mind to wander, thinking that you've got it all in the bag. So 6.6 seconds with a few minutes left before the 2 lap board comes out to complete this moto number 1. And down 5.8 seconds for Matsumoto behind Zakaria. And Matsumoto has got the likes of, behind Habibullah. Zakaria right behind Matsumoto with Trakan Tantong there in 5th position. So they come through, there it goes, Habibullah going through turn 2, comes back on itself. That's where Zakaria Trakorn tried to get through Matsumoto the previous lap, but was unsuccessful, as Lewis Cornish comes down just in front of our vantage point. Short straight that leads them back into the second half of this 980 metre go-kart track here at KRANJI in northern Singapore. Over the ripple strip. I don't think the officials will want to be looking too closely at that one. So at the moment it's still a decimating performance. 20 laps they've done now. A 49 second a lap. But this battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th is going to go to the wire. Who's going to hang on to it? Matsumoto's got us there. Trakan is trying everything, the Thai rider at the moment, looking for that little bit of a gap where he can punch his front wheel through. And all they're waiting to pick up the scraps is the Malaysian Kari Zakaria. And I'll tell you what, Matsumoto is making his bike extremely wide at the moment, trying to fight off the attentions of both Tantong and Zakaria. As we see on screen now, we go back to 2nd place. There's the gap, the length of the pit straight between 2nd place Habibullah back to 3rd place Matsumoto. And again, fastest man on track. Cornish hasn't improved his best lap of a 48.509. So Trakan still holding off the attentions of Zakaria. There's Habibullah, the ever popular Malaysian rider, the defending champion, on his KTM. Now, Cornish has got right up to bike number 77. That's Asman Osroy. So he's lapped up the 7th position as Lewis Cornish. And unfortunately, I've said before, but our visiting Danish rider, I'd say, to be still having problems with that braking issues that he had during practice and qualifying, Simon Wilhelmsman. A long way to come for the disappointment of not finishing. I'm sure we'll get some after-race words of wisdom from these guys. So it's pretty humid here, so no doubt the weather and the humidity is going to be playing a part into the performance of some of these riders. Teslenko now back in 8th position. He'd be feeling a pinch coming from Russia. And that won't be too long before the 2-lap board remaining comes out to show Lewis Cornish that he's a one step closer to the 2017 international class win of the FIM Asia Supermoto Championships here at KF1 Go-Kart Track in KRANJI in northern Singapore. which you can see on the screen. On the lead now out to nearly 10 seconds between first and second, and which another 6 seconds between second and third. But what a disappointment for our visiting Danish rider, Bill Helmsman, who just couldn't keep out there on the bike. The ongoing issues with the motorcycle obviously having an effect on his performance during this Moto number 1 here this afternoon in Singapore. So no one's bettered their lap times. Obviously the tyres are starting to feel a pinch as well. It'll be a pretty hard slog on these tyres around this 900 metre track. Looking to see that the 2-minute board is coming up very shortly. But now the lead out to 11 seconds. The lap traffic having a bearing on Gabit's performance in getting through the back traffic, but not having so much of a derogatory effect on Lewis Cornish. As there's Hasram Osroy there. So Cornish leading it, but the battle now still Matsumoto from Tantong, and just behind him Kari Zakaria. So we're seeing the battle overall for second and third in the championship here in this battle for third, fourth and fifth. Trakhan Tantong just holding the ascendancy. He's got 11 points to pull back on Kari Zakaria has got 11 points to pull back on Trakhan Tantong to have any chance of moving into second position. And the way it is at the moment, that lead will be extended by another lap. And every few points is going to make a bit of a difference. So Lewis now got the lead out to just under 12 seconds. The 2 laps to go board has come out. And it won't be long before the 1 lap to go board comes out. There's the unmistakable number 8 done up in the UK flag. So he's on the last lap. Coming through now is Lewis Cornish. Through the straight behind us. Now he comes through the tight left-hander. Back up into the final couple of turns. Punches it through the tight right-hander. Then he's up over the S-bend for the final time. Into the final turn, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together. Lewis Cornish will put it on the back wheel. There's the checkered flag. He's won it again. 6 wins from 7 starts for the Englishman to take another firm grasp on the 2017 International Class FIM Asia Supermoto Championship. In second position, Mohammed Habibullah on bike number 1, the defending champion. And then in third position, it will be Yasushi Matsumoto in third off 6th position on the grid. A great performance by him. In fourth position will be Trakhan Tantong, and rounding out position number 6 will be Malaysian rider Kari Zakaria, as Lewis Cornish puts it on that and does a bit of showboating for the crowd. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for all our riders that have taken part in leg number 1 of the 4th round of the FIM Asia Supermoto Championship. Great performance. It might have been a bit of a processional race, but I tell you what, Lewis Cornish put in all his laps into the 48s and the low 49s, so a very dominant performance, particularly when his main adversary for race glory, Simon Van Helmsman, had to retire, obviously, with a couple of bike issues that we've seen with the brake fluid boiling in the heat, considering it's a pretty standard machine that he's got at the moment. But all the boys will be coming back for a well-deserved drink of water and energy drink. And I'll tell you what, I think we'll need a bit of an energy drink up here as well. It's getting these results on your screens at the moment. Lewis Cornish taking the win by 12 seconds from Muhammad Habibullah in second. Then it's the Japanese rider Yasushi Matsumoto in third position, a further 5 seconds behind, holding off the effects of Trakan Tantong and Kari Zakaria in fourth and fifth respectively. Then a big gap back to Eric Shia, then Artem Teslenko in seventh, Hazroy Osman in eighth, Pedro Wuna in ninth, and Sang Wei Kai in 10th position. Then 11th we had Li Wei, Sung Tong in 12th, Li Chin Pei in 13th. Simon Williamson not completing the race, 15 laps down, with Takashi Sasaki, another DNF in this particular race, in last position. But what a race for Lewis Cornish. He has really stamped his authority on this 2017 championship. Won every race bar one when it was his own mistake to put him out of the race. Back there in Type 1 in the first league 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago now. But you've got to say that the only man that can stop Lewis Cornish winning this championship is the man himself from Norwich in the eastern part of the United Kingdom, there in the home counties. But great result for Lewis Cornish. Great result for Muhammad Habibullah to come back from injury after missing that round in Taipei, to take a few vital points and move up the points ladder for as he attempts to defend his crown, but unfortunately he won't be doing it this year. But the man that had a good chance of doing something to close the gap down to Lewis Cornish in first position was Trakan Tantong, but all he could manage with fourth position, so he's lost more points, so the gap now out to about 20 points. So a great race held by all, and we'll be coming back with more action here from we'll start again at 6 o'clock for race number 2, but we've got plenty of highlights to be shown during the course of the afternoon, I do believe, and plenty of heat up here. Good thing about it too, ladies and gentlemen at home, wherever you are watching this live streaming around the world, it looks like the weather's going to hold off. We are getting into the monsoon season where the rain is expected every afternoon like clockwork, but so far since we've been here, nothing has happened. So looking good for a pretty incident free as far as the weather goes, as we get ready for race number 2, which will be in a couple of hours time. But we'll be heading down very shortly to take up, and in the meantime we'll be with a quick break and be back with more action from round 4 of the FIM Asia Supermoto Championship here in Singapore.